All right, let's get started. My name is Jared Sparr, and I'll be your host today. And you are on with how to get insurance verification in 60 seconds or less, the webinar. Before we get started, we do have a few people just joining us, so let me do some housekeeping real quick. If you do join us, if you notice, we have you on mute, and we do have everybody on mute just so we can get a clean recording of the webinar. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll address all the questions at the end. So that is it. Like I said, we're recording this, and this is how to get insurance verification in 60 seconds for your medical practice. Um, all right, so we do have some people, looks like, still kind of popping in here, and I know we're expecting some more, but let's go ahead and get started. I want to get you guys in on time and out on time. So, what is your current policy? And basically, think of how you do insurance verification for your practice right now. Patient comes in, you call the insurance company, find out what the deductible is, find out what their copay balance is, and find out, like, say, for example, if you're a chiropractor, how many visits they have left in their plan. And this takes like 10 or 15 minutes. And a lot of times it's not done until after the patient leaves, so you never even collect that copayment type of collection payment, and you have to bill them, which means that you're floating cash for a minimum of 30 days. So if that sounds familiar, we've got the solution for you. Um, a lot of times, even that billing process, when you do get paid from the insurance company, that takes about 30 days or so, and you don't do your bills to the end of the month. So that means that you're waiting an extra 10 or 15 days before you even send the bill out. Then you mail the bill, which takes time and money for envelopes and printing statements and stamps. And after another 30 days, you might get paid. So hopefully you do get paid on those. Um, and like I said, if you're looking for a solution to that problem, you are definitely in the right place. My name is Jared Sparr once again, and I am the owner of Game Changing Business Solutions. And I want to show you how to use A-Claim software to revolutionize your business, how you can eliminate your net 30 and also get insurance verification in less than 60 seconds. All right, our system's stuck here. I always get stuck on that first screen. Okay, so the first question I have for you is, did you know that 50% of all medical bills, this is not the insurance portion, but like the copays and deductibles, go unpaid. Statistically speaking, that's a real number. Hopefully, it's not true for your practice, but somewhere out there, there's a practice that's actually doing worse to make up for yours. And with Obamacare coming into place, that number is actually going to go up because deductibles are actually going up higher as well. So if the deductible goes from $1,500 to $3,000, that's $3,000 that the patient has to pay for out of their pocket, which means that you're going to be billing that $3,000, and you've got the, I should say, opportunity, but the likelihood of not collecting on 50% more money. So that's where we're at right now. And that's with insured patients. With non-insured patients, that number goes up to 80%. So 80% of what most medical practices bill out does not get collected. So it's something to think about when you're doing your billing and going through your business plan. If you could have 50% more money, how would that change your business? Okay, so A-Claim software, basically you can get a live snapshot of your patient's insurance within 60 seconds or less. You can find out what the copay is, you can find out what the deductible balance is, and like I said, for chiropractors, you can find out how many visits they have left in their plans. So with that information, not only are you saving 15 or 20 minutes in time with your staff on the phone trying to get it, but you're going to get more accurate information because you're looking at the same screens that they're looking at. And we're going to show you how to eliminate your credit crossing. We're going to show you how to eliminate your net 32. So next step is to show you exactly how it works. So here's actually the software. When you log into it, the actual home screen that you see, you can see on the left, there's four major things, four major parts to it: collecting payments, existing payments, insurance information, and administration. So before we go into those, what I'd like to show you is right in the middle of the screen, there's an alert. And the alerts are pretty important because the alerts will tell you what's going on, what you need to address, and what you need to look at. Like, say, for example, a patient is making a payment via credit card, and that credit card is going to expire next month. This is your alert to let you know that you need to get a new credit card on file. So it's very important that you see that, and there's where the reminders come to you. The other thing is if you have a multiple doctor practice. So maybe you've got, you know, a physician practice with four different physicians in it, and each one bills differently. See where it says you are logged in as, and it says Care 583? That, in that case, would have a drop-down menu, and you can choose which physician you're going to bill it to. Okay, and then also the software is web-based, so you don't have to worry about installing it on your computers. You don't have to worry about HIPAA. You don't have to worry about PCI compliance. And you don't have to worry about your computers going down. So if you get a virus, you're not going to lose anything. All you do is plug it in your computer, log in, and you're all set to go. You don't lose anything. Plus, the updates come automatically. So you don't have to worry about getting a tape in the mail and installing this or getting a disk or trying to download something off the internet. It's all done for you automatically. And when there's upgrades in the system, you get those upgrades for free. So kind of a cool process. And this is the cool part here. This is the part that everybody asked me about, and I'm going to skip over because I shouldn't say skip over it. I'm going to go through it fairly quickly because it's fairly quickly as far as the process goes. I mean, it's just as easy as I'm going to make it sound. So basically, here's insurance verification. And you've got a couple options. You can manually enter the information or you can swipe it the card. A lot of the new insurance cards do have a magnetic strip on the back, so you can just swipe it right through and it just populates everything for you. If you do enter it manually, all you have to do is put in the provider patient's information, and again, a lot of it will populate for you automatically, or there's drop down menus that you can choose from instead of having to type information in. So this screen here will take you literally just seconds to get everything done. And as far as what it is, basically this is an electronic Form 270. You're submitting this to the insurance company and they're going to give you an electronic Form 271 in return. And what that Form 271 is the exact same screen that if you call into the insurance company that they're looking at when they're giving you the information. So you can kind of bypass that person who's not really educated and just reading information off the screen and trying to interpret it, and you can figure it out for yourself very quickly. Um, let's make sure I don't miss anything here. There was two groups that it doesn't work as good for, and I have to point that out, and it's dental and optical, and it's because you guys have your own kind of insurance programs that are not tied into the traditional insurance. But I do want you to stay tuned because even if you can't use this for that part of it, the avoid your net 30 payment I think will be really interesting to you guys because it's a great way to speed up your payments. And so just hold tight with me on that. Um, Information cannot be stored for HIPAA reasons. This is one thing one customer asked me is, does it store the information for my clients so I don't have to put in the information every time or worry about it? And basically think about your normal procedure. A lot of times when your patient first comes in, the first thing you're going to do is get their information. You're going to have them fill out the forms. You're going to take a copy of their insurance card and put it in their file. While they're doing that, you can actually go and run their insurance through the software, very quickly find out what all their information is so you know what to bill them at that point in time. And then depending on how you want to approach it, you can do that with every single visit with the information, that copy that's in their file, or you can just do it annually or if there's any changes in that information. Because I know when you go to the doctor's office, there's that sign-in form and at the very end it says, are there any changes in your insurance? So that's where you make that change and review the information again. All right, so the next screen, this is the response screen, that Form 271 that you would get back from the insurance company. And this shows the patient details. And when I say details, I mean everything that you need to know so you can find out how much to bill your customer. You can see exactly what the copays are, deductibles are. And the one thing I do want to point out is this is a live snapshot. So it's 100% real, but there could be something in transit. So if that patient went to a different doctor earlier in the week and that doctor hasn't submitted their information yet, then possibly their deductible could be lower because there's more information that hasn't been submitted yet. So with that said, when you're billing a customer, you're always going to be able to collect or authorize more information so that way you know that in worst case scenario, you'll over authorize, not under authorize, and you're always going to be covered. And that comes into play as far as the billing goes, so we'll get into that in just a second. Each insurance company has their own format for this form. I do have to warn you there. There's usually the top 8 that you're going to be using. So within, say, I don't know, a week or so, you're going to hit all those top 8 multiple times, and you're going to be able to figure those out very quickly, what lines you need to go to get the information you need. So please don't be overwhelmed. It will be pretty quickly and easily learned for you. Make sure. Oh, one thing I want to tell you too is that there's 3 components to the system. The insurance verification is the base. So that's the starting or the foundation. And you can get this without getting the other 2 components, which is credit cards or checking information, like if a customer wants to pay by check. So those are the other 2 options for you. And you can get any 1, 2, or 3 of them at a time. Just so you know, this is the foundation. And say, for example, you don't know if you're going to use this, or maybe you have another insurance verification program that you use, you can still sign up for it, and it's a pay-as-you-go. So if you decide not to use it, just stop using it and you don't have to pay anything for it. So you don't have to worry about signing up and getting into a contract with it. And again, notice I didn't spend a lot of time here because it's just that simple. There's not a lot of time to spend. You can get in here and get out very quickly and get the information you need for your customers. All right. And I just talked about this again, the insurance verification portion. You can use it all by itself or with the other two components. There is a setup fee, and there's also a $39.95 monthly fee plus 50 cents per transaction. So with that, with the monthly fee, it gives you unlimited access to the system. You can have it on as many computers as you want, and you can have it for as many users as you want. It gives you automated backup and HIPAA compliance, so you can get anything as far as support goes, and you don't get extra bills for support and all that type of thing. And then also, what was my other question here? Support is US based, which is kind of important to me. There's nothing that's more frustrating than calling into support and having to explain something to someone in a different language. And the one thing I want you to look at as far as that $39.95 monthly fee and 50 cents per transaction fee goes is your return on investment. How many insurance verifications do you do in a month? How much does that cost you, and how much would you save by doing it this way? I worked with a small doctor recently. They do roughly 30 to 50, let's try that again, 30 to 50 authorizations or verifications a month. Right now they're doing it manually with a labor cost of $8 per hour for a receptionist to do it. Their true cost with workman's comp, unemployment taxes, etc. is roughly $18 an hour, and the staff spends roughly 15 minutes per verification. So their cost to do those verifications right now is $135 a month. And it could be as high as $225 a month if they're doing 50 of them. So it's not a huge number, but fairly decent number. By using the system with the $40, well, $39.95 per month plus 50 cents per transaction, those costs go down to $55 to $65 and provide them a monthly savings of $80 to $160. So just looking at that number, $80 to $160 a month, that could be easily $1,200 to $1,500 a year in savings just by using this insurance verification. That means that your labor costs go down and you can have those employees work on something that's a lot more efficient for them, like marketing your business and getting more customers in the door. So this is also for a very small single doctor practice. It was like a chiropractic office that we did the quote for. And if you have a larger practice, that number of savings is going to be exponential. You can save, in this example, $1,200 to $1,500 a year. In a multi-physician practice, you can be saving $12,000 to $15,000 a year just by using this system. All right, not to mention you'll get the information a lot quicker and more accurately. And again, it's the same screen that the person that you talk to is looking at, so you're kind of bypassing that middleman. All right, so the next step is the payment part of it. And this is how we show you how to eliminate the net 30. Basically, now that you know what the copay is, you know what the deductible is, you know how much to bill your client approximately once you get that insurance reimbursement back. So basically what we're saying you do is you pre-authorize either a check or a credit card payment from that customer, and you hold that pre-authorization until you get the insurance reimbursement back, and then you apply it. It's really, really simple. And this is the screen where you would do that. You would basically choose whether, excuse me, whether it's going to be a check or a credit card. And what's really cool is the system holds two payment forms, like a first choice and a second choice. So if your customer or your patient has an HSA or like a health savings account, you can actually use that as the first choice. And then say, for example, their account maxes out and they have still have a balance left, you can pop it over and start using that second payment amount. So that way you're never in a position where you're not getting paid for that service. Um, so here is where we store the information. Make sure I go through and don't miss anything. Use the Pay Today feature for payments at the time of service. Pre-authorizations, you store and you use the store for insurance determination option. You choose the check or the credit card, and then you can either scan the credit or scan the check or swipe the credit card, or you can manually enter either one, whichever way you want to do it. In the event you may have no idea what's going on with the patient as far as maybe they don't have insurance and they have multiple things going on, you can actually store the credit card or check for an undetermined amount of services, which means that you can bill it as you go. And that's a nice way to do it so that you can make sure that you don't get in a position where you're not getting paid. So the first screen basically is where you enter the credit card checking, the first choice. The second screen is where you enter the credit card or checking, second choice. And the third screen in this section shows you a confirmation, so that way you can verify it with the customer. And even at this screen, you can make changes. So you can also back out and make any adjustments as necessary. And then, of course, the main thing you want to do is get permission from the customer. So you'll print out a receipt. This is a copy of what it looks like. Customer signs it, and now you've got a legally binding contract that says that you can charge their card or their preferred method of payment when that bill comes back. So if there's a dispute, you've got proof, or if you do need to go to collections for whatever reason, again, you've got a lot more proof than just, hey, this customer owes me money. All right, so here's the fun part. So you've done the pre-authorization, or I'm sorry, you've done the verification on the insurance, you've done the pre-authorization on the checking or credit card, you submitted the information to the insurance company, 30 days or so has gone by, and you've gotten the reimbursement from the insurance company, and you know how much to bill your customer at this point. You now do not have to send out a statement. You don't have to stuff envelopes. You don't have to fold the statements up or spend a ton of time and spend money on stamps and stationery. All you have to do is go into the software, look up that payment. Here's a screen where you would do that, and you would apply that payment to their account. Just like as if they were going to mail in a check or make a payment in front of you, you take it right out of this system, you charge the credit card or the checking, you go into your management system and you apply the payment. So it's a very smooth, very fluid system, and it works with any management software that you might have currently. And again, this can be done on a one-by-one basis as the payments come through from the insurance company, or it can be done in mass. There's ways through the reporting feature to do it in mass as well. All right, what do we have here? We passed over in the first section. We can expect an automatic billing. All right, this is for the dentists and the optometrists, or for plastic surgeons, or say, for example, you're going to do an MRI that costs $250 or $500 for a copay, and the patient says, hey, I don't have the money to pay for that. This, this feature is a really cool one where you can actually set up weekly, monthly, or bi-monthly payments for them. So if you've got, say, an MRI that costs $250, you can do 5 months payments for $50 for them and make it really easy to fit in their budget. And everything is completely automated for you. So you really don't have to do a whole lot. This is where you'd select the screen. This is where you would enter the payment, just like before. You've got a first and second choice of payments. And again, for the dentist and for the obstetricians, this is perfect for you guys. Second screen, just like before. So you got your first choice and second choice of payments. And then the third screen, just like before. This does have an additional screen, actually. This one is the third screen in this case is actually going to be your payment schedule. And you can pick it based on the start date. You can pick out based on the dollar amount, and it'll automatically calculate how many payments. Or you can calculate, how many payments you want, and it'll tell you how many you can calculate the amount of payments you want, like the dollar amount, like say $50 a month. It'll tell you how many payments it's going to take, say 5 payments to reach your $250. So it's a very fluid software, and it does a lot of the work for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Here would be the fourth page in that series, which was the confirmation page. And what's really cool on this one is that if you look at the schedule, everything has the ability to be changed. So at this point in time, you can look at that and the customer say, hey, wait a second, Christmas is coming up, and can I defer that payment or make it a lot lower because I know I'm going to be short on cash? And at this point, you can actually make that payment before or after Christmas. You can make it a smaller amount and make the other ones higher, and you can do it all manually if you want as well. So it's a great way for you to kind of meet those needs of your client. And of course, just like before, you've got that agreement form that the customer signs, so that way you've got the proof of the payment, and if there's any issues, you've got verification as well. All right, so complete details. This is if you're going to go into reporting. You can go into reporting and find out details on every single transaction. And in this case, it's for that transaction we just entered for the $300 for payments over 3 months of $100 each. And if you go into reporting again, and there's some different features. I mean, you can see there's a ton of different ways that you can search for anything that you need to search for. If you want to do an export to make all the payments from the insurance verification, if you want to look at your daily sales, one of them that I didn't even think about, but we just went through a demo, and someone explained to me that they used one of these reports for was for cash flow projections. So they want to know how much money they're going to be getting in, say, 3 months from now. They can actually look at their automated payment structured plans and say, hey, I already know I'm going to be getting in $16,000 that month. Let's go ahead and do it. So it gives you a lot more information than you might think to help you make a decision. And then if you notice, almost everything on here is clickable. So if you want to look at the details of any transaction, you can click on that and see and drill down to the details of not just the dollar amount, but who did it, who it was for, what their dollar amount was for, what the total dollar amount was on that series. So you can get a lot more information very quickly. And the final part in the series was the administration part. This I thought was really cool, but also very important. Not a lot of people consider this or think about it, but each user is set up with their own unique login and password. So that way you can track which employees are doing what. And what's really important is that you can limit what they're doing. So say, for example, you can have a receptionist that's only going to be doing insurance verification, where you might have someone down in the accounts receivable department doing, or bookkeeping department actually applying and doing the payment part of it. So that way, if you say, for example, terminate employee, you can immediately eliminate her access or his access to the system and keep all this secure, or all this data secure and safe. And that's where the HIPAA compliance comes in. All right, introducing it to your patients. This has been a little bit of a concern for some of the practices. Is, my patients aren't going to accept it because it's different. The software is developed in Texas. It's very popular in Texas. I'd say probably 80% of the doctors in Texas use this software or some version of it. So I mean, it's widely accepted. It's just a matter of how you introduce it to your patients. And inside of this section, under the administrative part of it, actually has not only information on how to use the software, but also how to introduce it to your patients. So it goes through very quickly and easily. And you've got PDFs that can be either things you can snail mail, for email, for posting inside of your office, for maybe on the signature pads when a customer comes in, you can have them sign a form that says they agree to the new payments. So there's a lot of ways to do it, to introduce it to your customers, that makes it very easy for you. And here's just an example. So I'll let you read through it, but as you're reading through it, you can look and see the wording makes it sound like you're actually doing them a favor by using this new policy to keep your costs down. And it goes over very well and very quickly and easily with your customers. So don't be afraid of that. And if you have any questions, we can walk you through it. Um, One thing I do want to tell you is that support, it is local, it is domestic, so you do talk to a person in the United States, and it's unlimited. So if you have any questions or any concerns on how to do this, they will walk through this in great detail with you. All right, so the big question is, how much does it cost? And like anything else that you do with your business, it's all based on return on investment. If you buy an X-ray machine and you're paying 12 or 15 or $25,000 for it, you're not buying it thinking of it as an expense. You're buying it thinking of, my payment is $600 a month. It's going to generate $1,800 a month worth of billable time, and I'm going to make $1,200 a month worth of profit. So that's the same way I want you to look at this software as well. We talked about one example of a chiropractor earlier that we did a quote for. Here's another example that I did a quote for. It's a small local office, similar to the other guy. He was just a single chiropractor. So again, very small. His billing cost, which we went through in detail to figure out how much it was for his labor, envelope stamps, etc., was $525 a month, which he was astounded to realize how much that was. But he agreed, once he actually looked at it on paper, that that's exactly how much it came out to. Um, and this number doesn't keep in mind the 50% on average that customers don't pay. So, a lot of times, even though you're billing these customers, you're not getting paid for that service still. So we're not going to count that. We're just going to say the $525. Now, cost for the acclaim service for this similar doctor, and because he's small, it's a higher percentage because he still has the monthly minimums, but for him it was $335. In that case, he was providing $190 a month in savings. So by using the software, he was saving close to $2,500 a year just in labor. by using our system. Really nice and easy. Plus, he sped up his payments by 30 days, and he almost eliminated his bad debt. If you go on the website that's on the screen, and I've kind of left it up there for a while, they actually have an ROI calculator, which is really cool. For the same doctor, we put that information in, and it asks you how many insurance verifications, what's your average patient count, and so on. It'll tell you how much. For this doctor, it came up with $4,000 in savings per month, and that was including that 50% that would have been lost from people not paying their bill. All right, so the actual cost for a claim setup is usually $599, but if you sign up with me in the next 7 days, I will give it to you for half off. And that's just as a thank you for being on the webinar. The monthly gateway fee is $39.95, which we discussed. And that includes unlimited gateway access. So you can have it on as many computers as you want. It could be 1 or 100. You can have unlimited software users and also free software updates and unlimited help desk access. So there's going to be no hidden fees inside that. Transaction fees for check and credit card authorizations is 20 cents. For insurance eligibility is 50 cents. So every time you swipe an insurance card, which, like I said, for that one chiropractor we did, he only swiped 30 to 50 cards a month. So it's not a big number. 50 cents per swipe. And compare that to the labor cost. I think his labor cost was right around $3.40 for the cost of having someone make that phone call. Huge savings, huge savings by using it. Normal setup is 15 business days from when we get a completed application. Delayed payment cost is 0.5%, which is kind of like credit card processing, but a whole lot less. The application's on our website. It's www.medicalprofits.biz, and you actually can take a look at the application and all the terms and agreements right now if you want to. Just have to fill out the form to the right, put in your name and email address, and then on the bottom of that screen you go to with the ebook, you'll see the application right there. If you want to fill it out, just fax it back to me at 1-888-388-0162, and I can get it started for you very quickly. And of course, at any time you can call me. Please call me with any questions. My phone number is on the screen, but it's 248-821-5456, or email me. And I also suggest doing a live demo, because at a live demo you can see exactly how it works. You can go into more detail on the insurance verification part, and we can answer any questions that are specific for your practice. So training. Acclaim does the training for you. So what they'll do is do the installation. They'll actually create the software because it's web-based on their end. They'll test it, make sure everything's working. They'll set up a training time, which is usually about an hour with your staff. And a lot of times there might be 2 trainings because not all your staff is going to be there at the same time. And if you need to have a staff training like 3 months later because people forgot, or you have new employees, or whatever the case is, there's no extra charge for that. Really important. Credit card processing pricing. Likely you already are using a credit card processor, and we're not saying you have to switch. What we are saying is anything that goes through our system, it has to go through our credit card processing company. We will make this promise and guarantee to you that we will, at the very least, match the rates that you're currently paying. And likely, because we do a little over $11 million a month in credit card processing, we've got a huge volume discount. Likely, we can actually save you money. And depending on who you're using for credit cards, we can speed up your cash flow there as well, because we have next day deposits. You do need to submit a credit card statement when you fill out the application. So that's where we can make sure that we match all the pricing there. And what do we have next? Oh, check services. Check services I love because, unlike credit card processing, there's just a transaction fee. So it's a lot less expensive, and it's a great way for you to reduce your expenses by using checks versus credit card processing. And this would be just like a check by phone type of a service. Excuse me. And again, everything works together. So you can use just the insurance verification, the base, or you can use insurance verification with credit cards, or you can use all 3: insurance verification, credit cards, and check services. However you want to put it together, what's most comfortable for you, and you can add any portion of it at any point in time as well. So the application for the check portion of it is $50. That's the application fee, and it's per MID, or merchant ID number. So if you have a 5-doctor practice, you have to pay that for each one that does the application. Transaction fees are, again, 50 cents, but there's no no percentage like credit card processing, so it's a lot less. There's a $19.95 monthly statement fee per MID again. So if you have 5 doctors, there's one for each. And there's a return fee of $1.75. Now, this is something I want to point out. If you've ever bounced a check, usually that fee is like $35. It's $1.75. So we've done a really good job at negotiating the pricings and gotten them down for you guys. And again, if you do want to do any type of a demo, that would get you a lot more details. And I can also do a quote for your practice as well to see what your return on investment is going to be. Hardware. There's two different things that you might want to get, and I say might because they're not required. First is a credit card swipe. You can get this on eBay if you want. Quite frankly, you don't have to get it through us. Just contact me if you're going to do that to get the right model numbers. But we sell them for $125 with a 90-day warranty. Check reader, same thing, $275. As far as the cost for investment, I would say definitely get the card reader because it'll save you a ton of time as far as swiping and entering the card numbers. The check reader is not as important because there's not as much data to enter and possibly get wrong, but both of them will pay for themselves in savings and labor savings in a matter of usually 30 to 60 days. Satisfaction guarantee. We promise you, we guarantee that we will speed up your cash flow by a minimum of 30 days. We also know that that 50% that goes unpaid of insurance billings, we're going to make that at least 95%. So we guarantee that you're going to be happy. Make sure I don't miss anything here. Oh, okay. Testimonials. Don't take our word for it. Sherry Barlett as a practice, and she says with the claim, she's been able to save um, just a ton of time by using the software insurance verifications. Something that used to take her like 15 to 20 minutes now takes her 60 seconds. And then Patty Morgan has another practice in Pennsylvania, and she used to have a medical billing company that she used. By using a claim, she pretty much brought everything in house, which cut that bill completely out. But she's also been able to almost eliminate the unpaid bills, so she doesn't have to use collections at all. All right, so here's an added bonus for the first 5 people that sign up. And by signing up, what I'm saying is sending me an email and committing to taking a closer look, whether that's a quote for you, whatever that means to you, whether it's doing a demo. But the first 5 people to email me, my email is at the bottom of the screen, info@jarrettsparr.com. The first 5 people can get 75% off. So that application fee that is usually $599 is now only $150. So sign up for that as soon as possible. The first 5 people get it. And finally, the last thing is if you're frustrated with how long it takes to do insurance verifications and not getting paid from your customers, by using the software, we're going to take you to generating more profits for your practice and making things a lot easier. So once again, make sure you're one of the first 5 to sign up. Just send me an email and you'll get 75% off. If you have any questions, again, my email is on there. Please contact me for any questions or a software demo that's live, and we can walk you right through it. So I certainly appreciate your time. I did talk very quickly so I can get through this and not waste your time. And I look forward to working with you guys in the future. Thanks again.